Mm.
Here he comes.
Well, the
I have the turntables.
Ooh.
love that. Trian Fund Management, Nelson Peltz ramping up their, I don't know, attack on Disney. They're beating the drums. The battle drums.
Proxy war.
The war is being waged. It's being set, ready to go. We'll see it happen next year more than anything now. Spring, summertime, it will happen. But it's getting pretty crazy. They released this. So this is sent around to the shareholders. They've literally sent this. Am I right in this? They sent this to the shareholders. They're nominating 2 candidates and they're putting it directly to the shareholders as a vote. I'm guessing, is that what it is?
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is a public statement that has been sent to all of Disney's shareholders with a copy.
We got it from Mexican Iron Man as a heads up, by the way.
Yeah.
We
would have gotten it as a Disney shareholder.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty full on, actually. I've done a video on it that's dropped whilst we're streaming right now. It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So we'll take a look at this now. We'll kind of read through it and then we'll get all of your thoughts, guys on the panel, and hopefully you guys in the chat as well. So, oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. What was it? This one? No, that's not what I want. That's terrible. Anyway, we will go back to doing it like this because this is better. So, fuck's sake. Anyway, look, Trian nominates 2 candidates to the Walt Disney Company board. Some Negronis, they'll get you. Believes the Disney board's lack of focus, alignment, and accountability has resulted in chronic underperformance. One of the world's most iconic companies. And it is true. None of this, I read this earlier. This is like spot the lie. It's just complete truth after truth after truth. So basically, Triumph Fund Management, which beneficially owns $3 billion of stock, today submitted a notice of its intention to nominate 2 independent director candidates for election to the Disney Board of Directors at the 2024's annual meeting of shareholders. So they're doing what they said. They're just going straight to the shareholders. Disney is one of the most iconic companies in the world with unrivaled scale, unparalleled customer loyalty, that's declining, irreplaceable intellectual property, that's declining, and an enviable commercial flywheel. However, Disney has woefully underperformed its peers and its potential. Earnings per share in the most recent fiscal year were lower than earnings per share generated by Disney a decade ago and were over 50% lower than peak earnings per share, despite, this is the real killer, 50% lower, despite $100 billion in capital invested. Where's the return on investment? Margins in both Disney's direct-to-consumer business and its consolidated media operations significantly lag peers, despite Disney having scale and superior IP. For shareholders, this subpar performance has destroyed value. Disney stock has underperformed the stocks for Disney's self-selected proxy peers in the broader market over every relevant period during the last decade and during the tenure of non-management director. Furthermore, it has underperformed since Bob Iger was first appointed CEO in 2005, a period during which he has served as CEO or executive chairman for all but 11 months. Disney shareholders were once over $200 billion wealthier than they are now. Fucking hell. Unfortunately, this is the real killer. Unfortunately, the board and the CEO appear to have no conviction that things will get better. The non-management directors collectively own less than $15 million of Disney stock, and Mr. Iger has sold the vast majority of his own ownership stake, built up primarily through share-based compensation, more than $1 billion of Disney stock, leaving shareholders alone to face the daunting reality of complex turnaround and rapidly evolving industry. So what he's saying here, right, what they're saying here is the individuals that were on the board have actually no personal stake in the business doing well. We do, because we've got $3 billion of stock, which is a pretty great comment to make. And real quick, we've got Jonas dropping in here as well. So we'll read a little bit more, and then I'll get all of your thoughts. That turnaround does not appear to be materialized, and since Mr. Iger's first earnings call after returning as CEO, tens of billions of shareholder value has been lost. Consensus earnings per share estimates for fiscal years 24-25 have fallen meaningfully, even as company claims to be cutting billions of costs. Studio content continues to disappoint consumers, slowing the speed of flywheel and threatening future earnings growth. More generally, Disney appears no closer to adequately addressing the compensation, misalignment, governance, and succession issues that have plagued the company for decades. This is their killer, I think. The root cause of Disney's underperformance, in our view, is a board that is too closely connected to a long-tenured CEO and too disconnected from shareholders' interests. The board, we believe, lacks objectivity as well as focus, alignment, and accountability, although the recent appointment of 2 new directors to the Disney's board is a step towards greater board objectivity and a belated acknowledgement by the company of the need for change. This reactive board self-refreshment on the eve of a proxy contest is insufficient, in our opinion, both because the new directors were chosen without shareholder input and because they seemingly do not own meaningful amounts of stock. There's a little bit more, but predominantly the last 2 take-homes are Nelson Peltz, nominated as, board member, seat member. And secondly, it's James A. Rasulo, who was the CFO of Disney and who, as they say, just as a bit of background, Jay spent 3 decades at Disney and served as senior executive vice president and chief financial officer of the company from 2010 to 2015. During his tenure as CFO, the company delivered compound annual returns of approximately 27%, compounding earnings per share at a rate of approximately 20%, paid a consistent and generous dividend, but you're taking it right to the shareholders. That's what they want. And Disney's share price appreciated over 250%. Before being appointed CFO, Jay was chairman of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, president of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, so 202, 205, 205, 209, delivering compound high single-digit revenue and segment operating income growth annually. Bob Iger called Jay a vital contributor to Disney's success with a strategic acumen and savvy insight. Oh my God, what do you guys think? Holy shit.
I love it. Do you know that Disney has already responded, actually?
No. What did they say?
They said Disney hasn't. Well, I'm going to summarize. It was very short, but they said Disney hasn't.
Where did they say this?
On their own. I'll drop the link in the private chat. But
they have a press statement?
They do. Yes. Okay. Here, I'll drop it back here, or I can present it if you want.
You present it. You do it. Come on, it's your show now.
Glad to be here on the Mr. C channel. Statement from the Walt Disney Company, Burbank, California, December 14th. They confirmed today that they received everything. This is where they actually start to talk about it. Disney has an experienced, diverse, and highly qualified board that is focused on long-term performance of the company, strategic growth initiatives, including ongoing transformation.
Fucking liars.
Diverse, mate. It doesn't. That's all that matters, right? They've got someone that's black. They've got someone that's yellow. Someone that's white. I mean, they got all this the bloody rainbow colors. It's all diverse.
Yeah, and they're almost all from the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah, here's their last
all
2.
of them friends of Bob Iger.
These are the last 2 nominees, by the way. James Gorman from Morgan Stanley and Sir Jeremy Derrick. Do you know him? I think he's British. Do you know him by chance?
He used to work for Sky or something like that.
Yes.
Sky's not massively well liked in this country, to be fair.
So I take this as Disney using diversity literally as a shield when they're just going to do whatever they want to do. They have nothing here. Jay Rasulo is about as qualified as a person could get to sit on the Disney board. In fact, you could argue that he should be an executive at the company right now. So this is a great pick. He should be on the board regardless. I think the only reason that he's not there is that Iger screwed him over back in the day.
Yes. Yeah. He shoved him aside and put Staggs there and then shoved Staggs out the door. So it's a whole conversation to be had. But it's Jonas, I mean, is there anything in here that that investors can put their teeth in?
No, I don't think there's. If you're asking if there's a problem with Jay Rasulo, no, absolutely not. He's a perfect pick, and he might have an axe to grind against Bob Iger. But what's more overwhelming here is he is a person who is intimately connected with the most profitable, what should be the most profitable segment of the company. This is somebody who can actually push back on Bob Iger on ideas for growing the company. They're supposedly investing $60 billion in the parks over the next 10 years. We've done the math here. It looks like that's probably going to end up like less than $500 million per park per year, and most of that's going to be a decade from now, as opposed to recently. So if you want to unlock the value of the Walt Disney Company, it needs to be done by transforming the parks, because the movie business is definitely not doing it. They don't have anyone there that can fix the movie business right now. So the next best thing is the parks, which should be a money printing machine, and they just keep refusing to repair it.
Well, I mean, you could change the movie business, like from the board side as well, you know. But like, right, what executives are we? Who do we? What producers? What executives are we working with here? Right. Well, what have they presided over that's been successful and, you know, been at a loss? I mean, Nelson Peltz would probably look at it from that. It's like profit versus loss. What's this person done? Been, you know, influential in that's been a huge loss for the company? Right. Get rid of him then.
The amazing thing to me is that if you're just a person who is paying for movies to be made, it seems like it would be easier to make these decisions. Who has done a good job? Well, let's pay them and just trust them to make good films. They seem to have scared off Jon Favreau, who seems to be responsible for 2 of the most successful properties of the Walt Disney Company, between The Mandalorian, keeping Star Wars alive in spite of Kathleen Kennedy, and also the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So why have they not just backed up to his house with a truckload of cash and said, we're just going to leave you alone. We're going to show up in a year and see what you have for us, and just go from there. I don't understand why these people are fighting so hard to have some accountability in the boardroom for these master I'm saying this in quotes, for these master communicators to not understand how dumb they look by refusing to admit that they've done some things wrong. It boggles my mind.
It's because they got to get that sweet DEI money.
Yes.
Keep that message going.
That ESG shit up in here.
Yeah.
They fired Kareem Daniel. He was the highest, the most powerful black executive in the movie industry because he worked for Disney during their prime. As soon as Bob Iger showed up, the first thing he did, because he couldn't fire Bob Chapek, the first thing he did when he came in the door was fire Kareem Daniel. This is all lip service to diversity in order to use people's skin tones as a shield for their own mediocrity. It's truly vile.
I love that. I love Trian's press release though, because it really is, hey, we're taking this to the shareholders. Here's everything that they're doing that's very clearly, plainly that you can see is actually wrong. And here's the people that, you know, we want to help make it better, who also have ensured that values have gone up by over 250%, and there've been dividends as well. You know, that thing you haven't had for a very long time. Yeah, we want to bring the dividend back. Like, for God's sake.
And they're very specific here. They talk about what the dividends were like under Jay Rasulo as CFO and head of the parks. They were higher. Obviously, Disney ran like clockwork. I can't wait to hear Mexican Iron Man's take on all of this, because he would know, because he was receiving those dividends. But Disney right now with this 30 to 60 cents per year is nothing. That's technically checking the box, which of course there's a lot of box checking that goes on with the Walt Disney Company. Not to keep going back to this, when they show their breakdown of board members, they literally have a diversity checkbox that they're putting literal check marks next to everybody's diversity quotient on the thing here. Right. It is about as shallow and as if I were diverse, I mean, I'm diverse in ways that won't be disclosed here. But if I were as diverse as Disney would want me to be, I would be so insulted that we would reduce these people down to, oh, well, you're a woman, so we need you here to agree with everything that Bob Iger says. Oh, you're a black guy. You need to come over here and agree with everything Bob Iger says. How insulting.
Us, but these people, they feel that they've been so underrepresented for so long, they'll jump at the chance, even though they know it's insulting themselves. Like, you know, it's just, you know, don't denigrate yourself, don't lower yourself to this nonsense. It's just pathetic. You know, meritocracy. What happened to that?
We covered this a little bit on That Park Place, and Tom gave me a little nudge to say, hey, don't talk about all the broken lights at Epcot while you have this massive boardroom battle going on. And he was absolutely right. But I will point out that Epcot right now is as broken as it could be.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still not all the way fixed. I think they've still got walls up, but the lights on this 6-year construction project are busted. And this Moana Journey of Water attraction that took forever to build also shut down because apparently they can't keep the water from coming out of the ground.
They don't know the engineering on something that comes out of a company that specializes in Imagineering, which one of the disciplines is engineering, is just garbage.
Right, and we're also hearing from a source that we're choosing to protect. Obviously, he's a source; we're going to protect him, but we're keeping their name out of all of this. The Walt Disney Company is already preparing for the idea that their next big attraction, which they're not releasing anything big until the end of next year, whenever this Tiana's Bayou Adventure thing comes out, they're already prepping anyone who doesn't like this is racist defense for that.
Oh, well, that's come on now. Of course
they're hiring
everything.
But Jonas, tell them about the officer that they're employing to do that and why.
I don't know how much I'm able to say. They're basically prepping the Riva defense already. They view that whatever that campaign was as successful. I guess they took the fact that Obi-Wan was more successful than other Star Wars properties as, oh, well, we did a great job with the marketing of this one. Oh my.
They're officially starting a department of propaganda.
Love it.
I bet it's a big, huge Wakanda land.
Yeah. No, well, they did say while they're struggling to get shows together, they are going to do a Wakanda animated series.
Oh,
I don't know if Black Panther will. Yeah. I don't know if Black Panther is still going to be dead, but yeah, they're hoping that the superhero cartoon audience, which again seems to be boys, is going to show up for the Women of Wakanda, the View of Wakanda series.
I could, it'd be good. Obviously not. Said no one fucking ever. What's our sort of thoughts on the Nelson Peltz situation? James Rasulo, though. Haven't heard from Nick, Culture, Tom, Andre.
Who do you want to begin?
I don't got a whole lot to add. This is all just funny to me.
Jump in, have a scrap. Who wants to say?
Okay, let's have a scrap. This is absolutely genius. First of all, like this is a brutal takedown, and it is what I have been waiting for, because I've been waiting for this. Disney doesn't have a board. They have a board in name only, but they do not have a board that is remotely capable of functioning like a board. This is a matter of public record in writing, courtesy of CNBC, who many have said it privately. Many have said it in streams, Mexican Iron Man for one. But CNBC is a financial publication who put it in writing, that every single appointee at the board were placed there by Bob Iger himself. They all have a personal relationship with him, and not a single one of them is qualified in anything pertaining to entertainment. Put all of that together, and what you get, Disney doesn't have a board. You have a board in name only, but that really is there because Bob Iger needs it to get his way. If he says jump, that board is going to ask how high. That's the only function of that board. It's technically needed. If anything, this statement was mild on that. But at the same time, in business lingo, this was as brutal as it gets. Carry on, Jonas.
Can I point out how amazing that is when you consider how far-reaching Disney is in the entertainment space? They don't have anyone with any movie experience. They don't have anyone with any television experience. Technology experience, I think they might have somebody who had some experience at Oracle, but
they have a bunch of pharmaceutical experience.
Yeah. which I'm actually kind of surprised at this point that Disney hasn't tried to go for that market. Honestly,
well, they actually they have you have like special like Marvel animated specials and stuff where
oh, that's true.
where
Yes.
they tell everyone go get your treatment, and they have like the pictures of everyone with the plasters and everything. So yeah, they have that. You totally see the pharmaceutical influence from the board that you can see.
So and now the latest hire, which I actually do think he's a good pick, Hugh Johnston. He's an experienced CFO, and he's good with mergers and acquisitions. But at the same time, he is definitely at this point, I will say he's definitely not a Peltz guy. He's had experience fighting Peltz. He's from the Microsoft board, and the new I guess we're two billionaires back here when I say this. Mason Morfitt from Value Act had the same board seat that Hugh Johnston had at Microsoft. They just switch seats there when Morfitt left the board. So I would not be surprised if more globalists take this board if Disney gets their way. So
do you know who next will be on it? I've got it.
Are you talking about Gorman from Morgan Stanley?
No, no, they got one more seat left. I bet you anything who's going to get it. Any ideas?
No, I'm waiting with bated breath.
Klaus Schwab.
That would be epic.
I will run Disney.
I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't think it's needed because they all answer to him anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Dear.
A man who is pretty much like
with Larry Fink. I mean, they all answer to him, so why would he need to be on the board? All of his lieutenants are.
True. Yeah, this is true. Bloody Wef stooges. Fucking scum. God.
Scum
dear, oh dear. Culture, you want to drop in on this one, or have you just bug it off? I think you might bug it off.
I didn't. No, I mean my thoughts are very, very similar to where Jonas is going to lead. I look at it, and despite my personal issues with Rasulo, based on some financial decisions that he made, he was the person responsible for leading Disney into some very profitable years and getting up ahead of steam to head into their most profitable time. And he did so with some sound financial practices, including stock buyback plans and things like that, that artificially helped to elevate the stock price and grow its cap over time. And that's a tried and true process to take stock off the market to prop up the price. And they did that with profits, which they haven't had a whole lot of in the last few years, especially under the reemergence of bounce back Bob Iger. Rasulo would be a sound pick and likely a sound candidate for the future to run the company as a whole. Now,
that's true, actually. That is
true.
You
know, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, I look at it and I go, there was a healthy crew of management there for a long time. Rasulo, Staggs, Mayer, even the crazy lunatic that they had doing media relations, Xenia Muncha, did a great job at preventing the bows and arrows from reaching the company as a whole. So all of those people are now blown to the wind for the most part, despite the fact that Mayer and Staggs have recently returned. So my thoughts are Rasulo would be an excellent person to partner with if you're a Nelson Peltz, and those two gentlemen can certainly change the trajectory of this company and likely bring some transparency to everyone about what's really going on behind the scenes. And I believe they would use that opportunity to, do some fiduciary duty and honestly reveal what it is that's driving this company to make some really stupid decisions.
Well, that's the sort of be all and end all. Be all. Fucking the Negronis are kicking in. The be all and end all of it is the fact that these individuals, well, at least Nelson Peltz, Trian Management, are personally invested. They have a financial investment in it. So they have a vested interest, quite literally, in the success of the company now, whereas Bob Iger doesn't. He doesn't. He's going to get paid anyway. He's going to get bonuses anyway. He doesn't give a fuck. He can just ride the wave of ESG and DEI constantly until that company's run completely into the ground. He's almost at retirement age. Well, he is at retirement age anyway. He can fuck off. It doesn't matter.
Then he's going to have so many other than the EI positions waiting for him. He's going to be on the boards of all of the company that he has board members from. He's going to be a well-paid board member from all of that. Klaus Schwab is going to have some nice position stuff for him. He's going to give speaking engagements in the next WEF meetings and stuff like that, talking about the importance of diversity, entertainment, and all of that stuff. I mean, he's made for life. He doesn't care what happens to Disney. Well, he does care because it is his legacy, and he wants his 2 shower days for as long as possible, obviously. But like financially, if it has to go under for the cause, then that's a price that he's very willing for Disney to pay. I mean, we saw it right there. He's sold out his own stock already, probably because he realizes that, this company is just going to have to go for the cause.
For the sake of, they'll have to die for the sake of die.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. Tom, do you want any closing thoughts on this, mate?
Tom,
Let's get it on.
there he is.
Can't wait. It's gonna be good. I can't wait for the proxy fight. Zahn.
Yep, we've got. We should know by probably March. I think it was April, early April, when Valiant had his call. And that's when things got really spicy. People were calling in, and it's not just where you get the institutional investors that have a vested interest in keeping the stock up, so they won't ask anything too crazy. The annual shareholders call, they open it up to the little guys who are actually pretty angry.
I love that. It's so funny. That is the best time. Love it.
That's when Bob Iger gets asked to his face, "Hey, maybe you need to abandon some of this woke stuff." So
are they required by law to do that, or do they do that just for the investors? Is that their call to have these?
They have to do some kind of investors presentation. Although I see Mexican Iron Man in the chat, he probably would know better than me on the investor aspect of it. I'm more on the corporate finance side.
Well, let's shuffle on.
If he's available.